Hey, good evening, everyone. Tonight we are being joined by some fellow podcasters. They are a Kansas City based group whose mission is to inspire people to learn, grow, and connect through their show. I've been excited for this one for a while, so be sure to stay tuned as we talk to the hosts of Chumming with the Spirits tonight on Unraveling the Darkness. What's up, Aaron? You're muted.
How was I muted?
I know sometimes StreamYard will just like auto mute you, and sometimes it doesn't. And yeah, it's just got a mind of its own.
Obviously. Yeah, they've done some updates that are kind of weird and stuff. So we might look somewhere else next year.
Yeah, I think it's worth looking.
Hey, I see you have a couple new additions on the wall.
I do, man. Yeah, I've got my Christmas presents from you guys up. We got our Gettysburg picture of the Way Out West team, and then the jackalope that you found from a local artist.
Yeah, that one's cool.
It really is.
I was like, man, it was like super little. And then she's like, I'll be at the mall in 2 weeks. And I was like, cool. And yeah, it's pretty neat.
Yep, so, she's extremely talented.
Yeah, we had looked at some of her other stuff this weekend when you were over, and yeah. WoW had a investigation on Friday the 13th.
Yep.
Up at the Knights, and went really well. You know, I think a lot of people that watch, some of them have been up there, and they know the Warren Jenkins story, and I think we're opening that up a little more.
I really think so. Yeah. I think the more we tell it, the more he's comfortable with it, realizes that we're not judging him for whatever happened. But then we also had some interesting evidence that may show he didn't do what he was accused of doing.
Yeah. So I can't wait to get through the records for the Knights.
Yes.
And really see if he was a member, because why else would he be up there, right?
Right. Yeah, that's one thing. Like, there's so many spirits that I'm like, why are they here? You know, like Warren Jenkins, V. You know, we know why V is probably there.
Right.
Remains were found under the stage in a trapdoor, but you know, some of the others, you know, an 8-year-old little girl in the basement. You know, why is she there?
Yeah. You know, it's one of the other cool things is we're going to run into like all the Cheyenne socialites of the time, right?
Yep.
Let's look at like 1900 and 1920.
Yep.
We're going to look at all, you know, we're going to see how those, or even let's go further. Like we can really go 1884 when you guys got the building, took over the building, had the building built for you, up until 1950. So Cheyenne socialites, people like F. Francis E. Warren, people here know that name because of the Air Force Base. But he was a Wyoming governor and a senator, and, you know, and then like Blackjack Pershing.
Yep.
Like, I'm really hoping to see that name in there. You know, it's been brought up, but it's like, it would be really cool.
Yeah. Right now it's kind of like urban legend status, you know, people say that he was, but we really don't have any proof of it. So yeah. We just need time to get in and go through the floor to ceiling records.
Yes. And that's what it is too. So it's all right.
And then plus they're, you know, 100-year-old books. So it's not like you can just rip through them, you know, we're going to have to be delicate and, you know, do one at a time. And
Yeah. So really neat. Another Friday the 13th next month. So we may do something then too.
That's right. We got a double one.
Yeah. There's 3 this year. I think November is the other one too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought there was only 2. Cool.
Nope. So
yeah. So yeah, check us out. See if we decide to do another Friday the 13th event and get you all up there and investigate.
Yeah. The guys we're going to talk to probably know some stuff about Friday the 13th.
I think so.
So looks like we just lost Larry. We're gonna.
JD's laughing.
He's like, of course. So just bring us in. So we'll bring JD in and we'll start there. Good evening.
Hey,
How's
JD,
it going,
how we
guys?
doing, man? Good.
Doing pretty good.
I'm wondering if we should bring him in and see if he at least has audio and we could let him know, you know.
Screw it. Yeah.
Oh,
Hey, he's back.
Hey, he's back. Probably went down a rabbit hole.
Can you guys hear me?
Like that, but
Yep,
Yep.
you're good, man. So yeah, great to have you guys on.
Appreciate it.
yeah.
Yeah, we actually just did Spooky Coffee on Friday the 13th, talking about the Knights Templar and all that.
Oh, nice.
But the history, historical marker that a lot of people don't even, not very religious people talk about, but know what Friday the 13th is.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting motion sickness from Larry.
Are you good? Can you hear
He's
us?
good.
You look good, Larry. Can you hear us? Nope.
Nope.
Nope, he didn't
All right,
agree.
he gone.
He
He's
gone.
gone.
He gone.
Yeah,
That's pretty much our
Jason's a member-
podcast in a nutshell.
Yep.
Jason's a member of the Knights of Pythias, which is the longest running, or actually the Knights of Pythias was the first fraternal organization that Congress chartered.
Oh, wow.
Sorry
Pretty
about
cool.
that. It kicked me out of the studio and then I couldn't hear anything.
No worries.
I don't know what
You're
happens.
good. We're talking about the motion sickness that JD was getting.
Weird things always happen though, talking to paranormal teams on here, just when we were, talking before the show, we had a weird orb of some
Yeah.
sort, go across JD's camera and, an anomaly. There you go.
Yeah, light anomaly.
Light
Yeah.
anomaly.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. You can't say orb anymore. That's got, there's
Yeah.
too much like connotation judgment behind that, I think.
But no, it is interesting that the more, and we've noticed that from the podcast, is the more you talk about it, the more stuff kind of happens around you.
Yep.
Mhm.
It's something we didn't point out at first. I was like, but as we keep going and more starts happening, I think the first time was Victoria. We had some stuff going on. She's a demon folklorist. And then we had Jocelyn on.
Mhm.
And yeah, of course, everything goes crazy in the purple room. So
Yeah, that was funny.
she had to change to her phone because everything was messing up. And then
And her light
as soon as she
wouldn't
got on her
work.
phone, the lights went off and it was crazy.
Yeah.
So,
We love that whole group, Jocelyn and
Mhm.
Pin Paranormal and Let's
Yeah,
Go
they're great.
Cleans. They're
Yep.
great.
yeah,
I-
we're excited to meet some of them when we head out that way.
Yeah, we have a great paranormal community in this area of Kansas. Jocelyn's down in Oklahoma, but she comes up quite a bit. We were just at a small event with her at Emmaus with
Hmm.
that place is pretty neat, but it was a little cool. It was in February and there's not a lot of heat, but
It was cold.
Winter investigations can be rough.
yeah, I'm a fair
Especially
weather.
us. Yep.
Yeah. So let's talk about the paranormal. Like we know you do the podcast, but before that, you were investigators, or you're still investigators.
Mhm.
Larry, let's start with you. What made you get into the paranormal?
Yeah. I mean, I've always been interested in the paranormal, and I think it was back in 2010 or 2011. I was sitting at work and I was like, I want to go do this. So I got on Craigslist and looked up paranormal groups, and I answered an ad for our good friend Jason Kupsik, who at the time had a team called Mid-Continent Paranormal Research. And he's like, yeah, hey, come on out to an investigation with us. And we went to an old Oddfellows lounge, or whatever you call it.
Yep.
And in not Excelsior Springs, Kansas. And I was hooked ever since. And I've been doing it since then. Been to most of the places in, I guess you would call it the Midwest, from Nebraska to Iowa, Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma. And it's something that I'm going to do until the day I die. I don't know how else to explain it. It's an addiction.
It
It is.
yep,
And
I was just
think
going to
people
say
don't-
it's addicting.
Yeah.
And I met Jeremy. We just looked this up recently. 9 years ago, we were on a team called Spooks, Supernatural Paranormal Organization of Kansas, and we were looking into filming documentaries on paranormal subjects, and two of us may have inadvertently broke the world during one of our documentary filmings. I'll let Jeremy go into that here in a little bit.
Are you guys
Right.
the reason for the Mandela effect?
No, we're I think I'm pretty sure we're the reason for COVID.
Oh. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to hear about that now.
You want to tell them that story real quick, Jeremy?
Yeah. Well, so a little bit of history for me is I'm atypical. Grew up in a haunted house. Footsteps on the stairway. That was my first time realizing that there's something other than us. I have a sister that's 4 years older than me. I am probably 7 or 8 years old, latchkey kid, Generation X. My sister, it's after school. This is during the daytime. The lights are still on. It's not even 5 o'clock yet. I hear my sister coming down the steps. I'm watching TV and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go scare her. So I sneak around. It's an old Victorian built in 1912, beautiful house. I hear her coming down the stairs. So I duck under the banister, wait till she hits there's like 2 landings. There's a midway and then the mud room or mud stop at the bottom where you can put your boots on and all that. And had a little, heard her land on the landing. I jumped out and went, ha! And there was nobody there.
Oh,
So my brain, I ran upstairs, opened my sister's door and go, did you just come down the stairs? And she's like, no, get the hell out of my room. And that just kept on going. My door would open up and close. My grandma was very open to all that. Like she had the built-in caller ID, tell you, oh, your uncle's about to call, tell him I'm making dinner. And I'll come back after dinner and you're like, and then the phone rings, you pick it up and like, hey, it's your Uncle Keith. I'm like, well, grandma's kind of busy, so she'll call back. Okay. And you hang up and you're like, so they kind of normalized it for me. And then, fast forward, got to meet Larry and I was helping out with Spooks. And so we get this idea, we want to do documentaries, because investigation's not hard enough. Let's try to look up things 100 years old in random locations. So we're trying to do this documentary on devil locations across Kansas, Missouri, in this area. One of them is the Devil's Chair in Kirkland, Missouri. It's this chair in the cemetery that's stated that the legend is that I think it's twice a year the devil himself shows up and sits in that chair. And if you sit in that chair within a week or 2 weeks, you will befall a fate and die, that the devil himself is going to come and get you. So
challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted. There's pictures of 2 people. Yep.
Yeah, that's the chair.
That's the chair.
There's some pictures of Larry and Rick sitting in that. And what's interesting is the person that was taking the pictures was who, Larry?
It was the owner of the Dybbuk box.
Oh,
he was out there in the cemetery with us.
Oh my God.
So
nice.
I'm not there. It was just the Dybbuk box owner, Larry and Rick. They sit down in the chair. Don't think, not a big deal. Was it about a week and a half later?
Yeah.
So we're trying to film. Well, that was another weird thing. Was it at KU that we saw the woman in white walking around and she disappeared?
Lecompton. It was the first.
Lecompton.
Yeah, the first territorial capital of Kansas where Lincoln gave a speech.
We're walking around trying to get information, all this filming stuff, and everybody saw this woman, and there's no one else in the museum or the library. So Larry starts feeling pretty bad. He's got a cough, feeling kind of rough. And then Rick gets yanked off his porch by his dog, breaks his back, which actually ended up being a lifesaver. He went in, they found out he had a cracked vertebrae, but he had the Widowmaker. He had 4 of his 5 arteries blocked because they did a stress test. They went in, and Rick is ex-Marine, way healthier than all of us. And we're like, holy cow. And they caught it. Larry ends up going into emergency care, has walking pneumonia.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if this had
No
all happened back in the
signs.
early 1900s, both of them would have been dead,
Yep.
Right.
in a
Yeah.
couple minutes. And then the next week, COVID gets found out. We're like, and then we can't do any documentaries because we can't go anywhere because
Yep.
COVID started locking everything down.
Dang it,
I'm
Larry.
like, I'm not saying it's directly. So, Larry, what do you do in your when you're not podcasting and paranormal researching? What do you work with?
Oh, at my normal job,
Yeah.
Hold on.
I develop
Hold on.
and make.
I saw you in
develop
like a
and make-
lab coat.
Yeah, I develop and make vaccines for animals.
Dang it, Larry.
Yeah, that's
Dang it,
just,
Larry.
there's a lot of coincidences in that. I mean, I'll still, but the timing was really odd, and but because of that timing, which a lot of people we're finding out, a lot of our we have a big network of podcast groups, friends, and pretty much a small family that we do a lot of collaborations with. But they all kind of got started the same way. So we used to be an investigation group. We used to try to do documentaries. COVID hit, all the sites shut down,
Yep.
and we're sitting down in OG's basement, who used to be on the podcast. He's gotten more important things to do now. I mean, life happens, but we're in his basement, and we're talking about all the things that we've seen and investigated and done. I go, it'd be kind of neat if we could actually just film this and and that's the very beginning of Chumming with the Spirits, of how we got from a paranormal investigation group into documentaries into podcasts. Because the other thing is, like, I don't know if you guys have looked into doing filmmaking, and that documentaries and TV shows are very expensive and very hard to do
Yep.
versus versus an hour, even an hour and a half to 2 hour podcast is way easier to do than a
Yes.
30-minute TV show.
Yep.
And, and some people don't know that, but it's
Well, we do film when we go into places, and then we made a few episodes. We'd signed with a streaming service, kind of left them, and then we're just doing YouTube. But yeah, like Jason hit me up the first time. He goes, "Okay, episode's done," and it was 40 hours editing, and I was like,
Yeah.
He's like, "It's about an hour a minute," and I'm like, "We need to break it up."
Yep.
You can't do this all the time, for everywhere we go. And then, we were talking before the show. Now we're doing 2 nights in some places, and now you're twice the footage, right?
Yep.
So yeah, it's just
Yeah, people don't realize that, like, the mainstream TV shows, for a 40-minute episode, they're there for several weeks.
Yep.
right.
Filming.
Right. You're right.
Yeah.
and that's what we
B-roll,
do. We host. I mean, you guys host events. You did one at Sleeper not long ago, I saw.
Mhm.
And we host events, and that's the same thing we tell them. Like, look, we're in here for 6 hours tonight. If we get something, you guys are pretty lucky.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these ones that you see on TV are in a building for 3 to 5 days.
Yep.
And
And they've
they're
got scouts that go out beforehand and,
Right.
kind of vet these places. So you're not fishing as much like we, standard groups do, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been to places before where, I've been there 9 times, and every single time it's just me and other people just sitting around in the dark. Nothing happens. You go there that 10th time, maybe during the day, and it's just off the charts.
Yep.
There's no regulation to making stuff happen or getting stuff to be participating with you.
and the behind the scenes, like you said, 40 hours of editing. That's
Yeah.
so we run a DVR system, a pan tilt zoom, 8 camera. Most of the time we only got like 6 or so set up, but they're PoE, they're power over cable, because we've ran into wireless issues.
Yep.
That's some of the untold things of when you're trying to get film footage of stuff. The paranormal loves electronics, and they love to mess with stuff. Like, we've had some weird stuff at the Sally house because of that. But 8 cameras running for 4 to 8 hours, depending on how long the investigation is. There's a ton of stuff. We've actually missed evidence that somebody else, we had them review it, and they're like, "Oh, look at this." We're like, "How do we miss that?"
Yeah.
right. You got 8 cameras, 8 hours. You're 64 hours of watching
Yep.
stuff, right? Like, that's a
Yeah.
full-time job.
When Rick and I,
And that's just
Jeremy,
your
when we
video.
went to the Missouri State Pen for the first time, I don't know what we were thinking. I would never do this ever again in my life. We had, I think, 36 stationary cameras going for 10 hours, and
Oh
that's
my
not
gosh.
including the audio, the
Right.
audio recorder files, the
Voice recorders
handhelds.
and
It took me months just to
Yeah.
go over stuff.
And it's like
wow.
you don't
Yep.
think about it until you're doing it, and then
Yeah.
well, and like so
Right.
you guys have a podcast and you like to investigate.
Mhm.
We've learned that doing events, it's easier to partner up with other investigators
Mhm.
to have them investigate, so we can kind of film them or have our camera systems around, because it's really hard to investigate and film it yourself at the same time. That never
Yep.
works out really well.
Right.
Now you realize why they have a film crew, and
Yeah.
and it's like, because we're doing it like we want to catch evidence, but it's also entertaining for people to see some of this stuff. We're not trying to scientifically prove stuff yet.
Just
That's our
saying, we
next.
saw another
Yep.
something there to your right going up, and
Yeah.
so
There
Other
is
side,
nothing
yeah.
in here.
Oh,
I am
yeah.
literally in a newer hotel.
Yeah, it looked
Yeah.
like it came from the back of the room and then came over your.
So I'm in
Your
Ohio. It is a
Well,
little
there's your
weird
problem.
here. There's a lot of podcasters out of Ohio, of all things. Cryptids of the Corn are out here. Myth Monsters and Moles technically in Indiana, but he works in Ohio.
Cryptid
What is
Paranormal.
it? Yeah, Cryptid Paranormal. Brian
Mm.
Goddard, the cryptid himself. 6'8". He makes. I'm 6 foot.
Oh God.
250. He makes me look like a toddler standing
We had
next to
Ryan
him.
on the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian, wonderful guy. Hours. I have hours of conversations with him, and he never ceases to amaze me on whatever topic you want to use as paranormal, cryptids. Yeah. So that's this area, because I'm also like 3.5 hours away from Point Pleasant, where the Mothman happened. You got Loveland, the frog incident. Loveland, Ohio, is also 3 hours from me. I'm near Sandusky. Like, there's a lot of weird stuff happens around Ohio. You got the Ohio
Yep.
Grassman. What's the big Bigfoot one?
The Ohio
Over
Grassman.
here. No, I know, but there's a festival.
The Ohio Bigfoot Jamboree.
Well, no, the Ohio Bigfoot Jamboree 3 will be there. I was trying.
Hawking Hills.
The Hocking Hills,
Yeah.
yes. That's like a big, almost a week event. Then they
Oh,
have
wow.
Tar Hollow, which is another location.
Snake Mound.
Snake Mound. But Matthew Moneymaker got famous off his Ohio Howl.
Mm-hmm.
He was in Ohio when he captured the howl that everybody
Oh.
pretty much recognizes. And I'm like, I'm in the northern part, so it's all fields. It almost looks like western Kansas. It's like I'd be able to spot a Bigfoot from like 10 miles away. There's no
Right.
trees that go, like
No cover concealment. Yep.
So
you're
let me tell you, like, we travel quite a bit. My wife is from Wisconsin, so we used to go across Nebraska. And I was like, ugh, Nebraska. 2 years ago, we go to Yates Center, Kansas to investigate Whiteface House. We go down to Denver, we hit across 70, and then we hit Kansas. And I'm like, there is somewhere worse than Nebraska.
Yep.
The only place I know worse than I-70 coming across Kansas is if you're in the panhandle of Oklahoma.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
that's rough. Yep.
Yeah.
You know, the one cool thing that we did get to see going across there was Wheat Jesus.
Jesus, I haven't heard of that one.
It's the sign with a big old Wheat Jesus. Can you find it, Jason?
Give me 2 seconds.
I don't know.
Oh,
if
there's
it's
a
being
big
locked up, but I'm
there's a big
seeing it
painting
locked up.
out by Hayes, I think, or Oakley. Oakley's got the big
It's over
painting.
by Oakley, yeah. Because
Okay.
we stopped in Oakley to eat, and then
Did you
headed
go do Monument Rocks and all that in western Kansas?
no, we just really went to Yates Center and investigated and
Got back.
Got back. Yeah,
Or the Garden of
Yeah.
Eden, isn't that supposed to be off I-70, Jeremy?
video.
Yeah,
of-
they're pretty much the same thing. They're remnants of sandstone, limestone from
Mhm.
when we're all underwater. They're really breathtaking to see them, because they're like 40 foot or 50
Oh,
foot
where's
high.
that at?
They're out in the middle of these fields, but it's called
Yeah.
Monument Rock. If you look it up, there's one's got a
Okay.
beautiful arch that's probably
I've
not gonna-
never seen that.
No.
It's right on 70, big billboard sign, Wheat Jesus.
Wow.
So we called it Wheat Jesus, and then we started looking up, and no, it's Wheat Jesus, and like it's got a cult following and everything.
Yeah, we stopped at a gas station. I'm like, did you guys see Wheat Jesus? You know, and then we Google it, and that's what everyone just kind of naturally calls it. It's funny.
Interesting.
Everybody else got Children of the Corn. We got Wheat Jesus here in
got
Kansas.
Wheat Jesus.
We just
We
for
just
short.
What would Wheat Jesus do? That's
Oh boy. Yeah, I think we made a little something like that.
Yeah, we might have. We usually do.
It is, but you get to go see some pretty interesting places. Like I said, I got to, being in Ohio, I got to go to Mansfield, which is the Parapsychon.
Right.
I got to talk with Barry Clean for a long time. Got to talk with John Zaffis. Saw Dustin Perry again. Traveler's Moon is another investigation group. They're a little north of us. They go all over the place, but they were up there. It was one of those weird coincidences. I literally hopped on Facebook on the Cryptids of the Corns podcast page and like, hey, I'm going to be up in Ohio. Is there anything to really do? And Brian Goddard's the one that answered. He goes, well, I'm in Cleveland. I could meet you halfway and we'd have a beer. And I'm like, he's the only one that said, and he goes, oh, by the way, you could go down to Point Pleasant. I'm like, what? I've been here for 3 years, coming here for 3 years, didn't realize it's the bridge from Ohio to like West Virginia, and didn't realize I was that close. So I hopped in my rental car, ran down there, made it to the museum before it closed. I got a picture of a koozie in Mothman's butt because it will hold $quarter or a koozie.
That's what I was going to ask. That's where the big, the big shiny Mothman is, right?
Yeah,
with the donk.
It's literally in line where the old bridge used to be at.
Okay.
Definitely worth. And I didn't realize the history of that. It's actually George Washington named that place when he was in Revolutionary War. Was standing there and said, oh, "This is a very pleasant point to be at." And it being Point Pleasant, there's a lot of historical markers all around, but unfortunately, it was not now known because of the tragedy back in 1954 or 55.
Right.
Yeah.
So you guys are in like a great, you have the East Coast with like everyone along the coast, and then this Kansas, Missouri area, Ohio, with a bunch of groups, and we're stuck out here in Wyoming.
Yep, we're just kind of on the western edge of that. But
there's like six of us from Cheyenne down to the bottom of Colorado.
Now there's some pretty interesting ghost towns and all that up in Wyoming and all that, aren't there?
Oh, there sure are.
Yeah, we have some great ghost towns. We just spent a weekend over in Elk Mountain, a little tiny town. The hotel was built in 1911. We had the whole hotel to ourselves, 12-room hotel, and got to investigate that. That was the weekend after Christmas. Honestly, we've probably done more outside of Wyoming than we have in Wyoming.
Mm-hmm.
So
permission is weird here. Getting permission to go into places.
Yeah,
a lot of them don't want that reputation.
That's what we hear about Oklahoma from Jocelyn as well. Like there's a stigma that you just don't do it.
Well, there's a lot of Native American land there too, so they're very protective of certain sites, and it ebbs and flows because like I lived in California for a brief time, and like when I first went out there, the Whaley House was very big on their paranormal background. Like they had a book of pictures of people of just captured evidence by taking pictures during the day, and they had ghost tours at night, and I got to do a ghost tour. Went back like I think it was 2 or 3 years later, a historical society had taken over and they stopped all of it, got rid of all the paranormal. And then now, another 8 years later, they're now doing ghost tours again. I think they realize that they, sometimes money is nice.
Yep.
Stanley Hotel in Estes. Estes is an hour away from us, hour and 15 minutes.
Yep.
They kind of did the same thing. They went away from the ghost stuff, and they sold to some art collective or something. And
that's right. Yeah.
I think they were like, oh, we see this dip in their income, and now so they've brought it back where they're doing some more stuff. So
I mean, I'm a history buff and I love the older architecture. So like I don't mind sitting in a beautiful Victorian house and nothing happens because I get to see like McIntyre Villa up in Atchison. That's Stephanie owns.
Stephanie O'Reilly.
Yeah, she has redone that. That is one of the most beautiful houses. I would recommend you guys taking a little detour and go up through Atchison on your way back. It's only about 45 minutes north of I-70, so you could actually go up. We even probably buy you lunch if you wanted, because we're real close to that. But it's a beautiful house. You mentioned Gettysburg. I just lucked out and got to finally do a ghost tour and investigation in Gettysburg. Was it last year? Last year. I've been there a couple different times. I love that location. That had a Mandela effect on that location of all things. But yeah.
Tell us.
So when I first went, and this is probably 10 years ago, I remember we did the Devil's Den and all that. We did the battlefields. And then our final stop was the cemetery, which is that's where the last stand was at, where the Unions were bunkered down in an existing cemetery. That's also where President Lincoln gave his Gettysburg Address.
Mm-hmm.
I remember walking into that cemetery, and there was a concrete stage with 4 columns on it that he gave the speech from, and I remember seeing pictures of that. I remember walking up there and in my mind being blown away that I am literally standing in such a monument, historical, you're seeing the cannons, you're seeing what people had to deal with, and President Lincoln himself gave this overwhelming speech trying to unite the United States. So I go back 6 or 7 years later with my family, go through all the tours. They mainly want to do the ghost tours. They weren't so big on the history part, but we pulled up, walked into the cemetery. Cannons are there. There are no 4 columns. There's no platform. It's just all cemetery. And I'm like looking around. I walked all over. I'm like, I know what I saw. I remember standing, hopped online. Nope. Gettysburg's never had 4 columns. There's no pictures of Lincoln with that. And I found similar pictures of the columns. They're Roman style columns, the up with the flutes, and they're fluted on the sides. There's 4 of them, and it was partially, it's like part of a building at one point in time, but it's not there.
Huh.
And it's like ingrained in my head of me being there, standing there, seeing them and putting them all together. And it was, epiphany of like, oh my God, this is overwhelming. And then go back and it's not there, and it never was there. And I'm like, wow.
Yep. We were talking about the Mandela effect last week and kind of going through all the popular ones. And some of them, I mean, they just, they bug the crap out of me. They really do. Mandela effect is one that just really gets me, because there are so many childhood memories I have that are very specific and they just didn't exist.
And it doesn't help that certain companies are gaslighting it, like through the room.
Yeah.
Right.
But like it's the mass hysteria, though. It's like everybody remembers Shazam.
Yep.
With Sinbad, but he's like, I've never done that, and there's no record of it, but I remember it. I remember it came back because it was the same time that Shaq had done one.
Yep. Kazam. Yep.
Yeah.
Have you ever looked into the Ellis Island Mandela effect?
No, I haven't looked into that one.
That one's pretty disturbing. That like the layout of Ellis Island today isn't what the historical photos showed for when people were coming through immigration.
Interesting.
And it's a completely different layout. Buildings are completely different, but they've never done anything with it. Like they haven't moved buildings around on the island, obviously.
Right. Yeah.
The Bernstein Bears.
Right.
Yeah.
The one that gets me that I talked about last week was the James Bond movie Moonraker, where you had Jaws, the main henchman with the big metal teeth, and he bit through that cable, right? And then at the end of the movie, there's that girl with the pigtails, and she smiles at him, and she has braces. And I remember as a kid going, that's funny, they both have metal in their mouth. You know what I mean? And no, she never had braces, supposedly.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, same here. Like, and I was talking to my dad about it. I was like, that's kind of like a core memory for me, is watching those James Bond movies and remembering that. And then, finding out that that's not real. It messes with your head.
the Britney Spears headphone thing.
Yeah.
Have you heard
Yep.
that one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and then
Yeah.
you have costumes that have that as part of the
Yeah.
outfit. I mean, that's what's weird is you're like, okay, if it was one little thing, maybe I'm just remembering wrong, but it's multiple people, and then you find references to costumes that have that particular thing that's
Yep.
not actually there,
Right.
or well, like TV phrases like "Elementary, my dear Watson" is never actually said.
Yeah. That one was never said. Luke, I am your father.
Didn't
That
he
was
just say,
never
"I
said.
am your father"? Or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
So
no, it's-
crazy.
yeah, and I'm getting old. Maybe it's maybe I'm just getting senile, but yeah,
Maybe,
no,
yeah, maybe we can start hiding our own Easter eggs here pretty soon. But I don't know. There's too many of them that too many that bug the crap out of me.
The one that I never understood was the Monopoly monocle.
Oh,
I-
yeah. That's the one that gets
Yeah.
me. I'm like, he had it.
Come on,
had
the
it.
dude's got a freaking top hat and like one of those pea coats or whatever. The dude had a damn monocle. I don't
Yeah.
care what you say. He had a monocle.
Yep.
Yep.
So you had sent us a promo picture standing on Bray Road.
Mhm.
Did you guys go up and try to find the beast, or
We
we
did
did our
twice.
best. Done it twice.
Nice.
I think we're picking the wrong time of year because we're going in November. We're gonna try a warmer time.
So the big thing that got us was, I think it was last year, Josh Gates' show Expedition X. That has
Yes.
Yeah,
Phil,
2 years ago.
They did
Yep.
an episode on it, and the whole time that they're filming like down Bray Road, it looks like it's just absolutely deserted, like just
Yep.
farmland
Desolate.
everywhere.
Yep.
There is not 10 feet on that road where there's not a house or something.
There's a short section that's maybe an eighth of a mile that
Eighth of
has,
a mile.
but the road itself is only like 5 or 6 miles long.
Right.
And most of it has houses on it now. So where they filmed, like whoever edited that episode, oh my God,
Deserves
they
an
need
Oscar.
an Academy
Yep.
Award for that. Because we're like, where's all the house? And there's no
Yep.
place to pull off. There's no shoulder.
oh,
So we've reached out a couple times. We're trying to get a hold of the gentleman that was on that episode that had the land.
Right.
He owns the only pretty much tract of land that's about that 8th mile that goes back.
Mhm.
But we tried night vision. We've done thermal out in that area. I don't doubt there was something there. And they still have sightings, just not at that location around the area. It's Elkhorn, Wisconsin.
mhm.
I wonder if it wasn't. I don't know if you've ever looked up pictures of a black bear that has mange.
Terrifying. Yep.
Oh my God, nightmare. And they look more like, without the fur, they look more dog like. And I'm like,
Mhm.
if I saw that and it stood up, I'm out. You know, like, but there is a picture of what looks like a wolf standing on its hind legs. It's like got a skeleton style arm that was supposedly taken, and it's the Beast of Bray Road. I mean, we'll keep going up. It was a bucket list. We found a great brewery up there
Same
called
here.
Dusterbeck. Dusterbeck Brewery, just out of Elkhorn, is a 100-year-old what was
Dairy
it?
farm.
Dairy farm that they converted into a brewery. They got wonderful pretzels, pizzas, and all sorts of beers. I'm like, okay, I can make this a yearly stop.
Heck
To
yeah.
look for a cryptid if I
Yep.
got a nice
Right.
place to. We did a live podcast. We've done 2 live podcasts from there now.
Nice.
I've always been fascinated with the Beast of Bray Road, and was it 3 years ago at we've got a Bigfoot festival put on by Bigfoot Kenny up in Estes Park, and somebody came and premiered their documentary Beast of Bray Road up there, and that
Oh, nice.
documentary was really well done. Yeah.
That's awesome.
The only bad thing was we found out it was during COVID. She passed away. The lady that actually really escalated the story of Beast of Bray Road she did an article and then wrote a couple books. She had passed away during COVID, because we were hoping to be able to at least talk to her, because the first sighting was in like 1936 or 38 by
At the monastery.
at the monastery. Something was digging in a graveyard. And the groundskeeper saw him and ran it off the first time. It happened again the next time, but it was very dog-like, which again, like a bear, black bear, with
Yep.
mane or I mean, it could be a dog man. I mean,
Yep.
I get more, more and more you do this, the more and more I get more open to things. As I was like, oh, because the creepy pasta thing, like Slender Man and all these made up stuff. Well, so Myth Monsters and Mullets, John Methenkamp, his real name's Fike, wonderful podcaster. He had a personal experience. There's the
Yeah.
You
Yep.
see that and tell me you're not going. Nope. I don't care.
Exactly. Middle of the night, you hear
Oh.
something getting into your chickens or something, and you go out there and
Imagine your flashlight reflecting off that skin of that face. It'd be white and pale.
Man, right out of the movie Howling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they're almost 6 foot tall.
Right.
I mean, that's
So- You mentioned the Stanley Hotel earlier. Have you guys been there? Because I got a pretty interesting story about that.
Not as a team, but I think we've all been there individually, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool place.
Not even to investigate, but I mean, we wandered, like when Gina and I went, we wandered around and went different places, but
I did the ghost tour there.
Okay.
I think she did it with one of the kids as a Girl Scout thing or something too.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, what you got, Larry?
So, do you mind, Jeremy?
Go right ahead. I know what one you're talking about too.
You do? Okay. So, Rick and I were working on a potential TV show at the time, and they let us into the Stanley to investigate for an episode. And the week before we went out there, I had never seen the Sally house, even though I'm only like 30 minutes away from it. So I was like, let's go to Atchison, say hi to Stephanie and drive by it because I want to see what it looks like. And I was completely underwhelmed because the size of it. I was expecting like this big mansion. And anyway, the next weekend we're in the Stanley Hotel, and we're down in the basement and the little tunnel section that you can still see the rock formations.
Yeah.
And they're telling us like all the history. And me being me, I get bored. So I pull out the obelisk, which I'm not a big fan of, because I don't think they work the way they're supposed to work. But I pull it out and I set it on one of the rocks, and they're just talking, and I'm walking around going do 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 do. All of a sudden, I hear the obelisk go, "Sally House," and I'm like, "What?" Like, first off, it can't say two words at once. That's not how it's designed. So I go pick it up and look at it, and it has both words on the screen separated, and it says SALLIE and then house. And I showed everybody, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" And they're like, "I don't know. It's not supposed to do that." But what are the
what are the odds of that? Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
To add on to that, we were doing some filming. I live in a small town called Tonganoxie. It's about 30 miles away from this Atchison, and that we're filming in a lounge. It's a whiskey lounge. It's easy to tell when we're filming there that it kind of echoes. We were trying to figure that out. But anyways, I get done, hop in my car, throw my Apple Maps up, just automatically connects up. It goes 35 minutes from the Sally house.
Okay,
like,
if you insist.
We're talking. Yeah, this is at like 10 o'clock at night. I'm getting ready to head home. It should have just picked my home. Did the same thing to OG one time too, and we're like,
"Wow,
what in the world?" But I thought, Larry, you were going to tell them about the chairs in your picture.
Oh yeah, that's another interesting one. So I woke up one morning while we were there that weekend, like really early. It was like 5 a.m. And I wanted to walk around before everybody else was getting up. The only other person on the main floor where the reception desk was the guy behind the counter. So I asked him, "Can I go through the rooms and take pictures?" And he's like, "Sure." So when you walk into the Stanley Hotel, they have the reception desk ahead of you with the stairwell. To the right are the two rooms, like the big ballroom and then the room with the piano.
Yep.
I walked into the room on the left that connects to the restaurant.
Okay.
And there were like 6 or 7 chairs in a perfect circle, and some of them had like sheets or something over them in the middle of the room. So I took a picture and was like, "That's weird." I go back to the receptionist and ask him, like, "Hey, did you guys have like an employee meeting this morning? Like, what's going on? Or late last night?" And he went white. He's like, "Those chairs were stacked against the wall."
Oh crap!
He's like, "Did you move those?" And I was like, "Why would I be showing you this if I moved them?"
Right?
And he was like, he was not having it. He was terrified. But it was like the
Wow.
ghosts were having like an intervention or something. I don't know.
Yep, right?
No, we're not having Larry back ever again. We don't need to-
The guy I work with, his dad used to do laundry service stuff, and he's 65 now. The guy I work with is like 65 now. When he was 9 or 10, he went with his dad one time. And they went into Estes to swap out towels and all that kind of stuff. And they were in the basement. And he stepped into this room and the door slammed behind him. And he could hear his dad and the employee trying to open it, and it wouldn't open. And then all of a sudden the door just opened. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. And he's like, no, it wasn't. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, now it's pretty cool, but I'm
Like,
sure
the
it
hell
wasn't
it
when you're like
was.
8 or 9.
So
I'm looking to see if I have a copy of it.
We were talking to Callie Sherrill, who helped invent the Estes method in the Stanley, and she was talking. She's like, "Oh, that sounds like Ruby," and just Ruby, and yeah, it was cool. Like getting stories from her about the Stanley.
yes. Speaking of doors, and since you've had Penn Paranormal on,
Yes.
so we had been communicating on Facebook for a little while, and they managed to make it up to the Paracon KC last year. We were the host of the investigations for Friday night and Saturday night at the Masonic Lodge. So Friday night, I have Penn, but I think Let's Go Ghouls was there, Ashley, I think Jocelyn was up there, and then Erica from Solo Paranormal. There's the chairs.
Oh yeah,
See how that one has like a sheet over it?
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, how'd you like to be
Yeah.
the one working there and seeing that? You're the one that stacked the chairs.
They had the intervention. They're like, you can't wear the sheet all the
Yep,
time.
you can't do the sheet, dude.
So Penn has a tendency to scare people. I don't know if she kind of talked about it. Like she has a video of her blowing the death whistle at the Sally House, scaring the bejeebas out of Ashley and Jocelyn.
She did talk about the death whistle. Yes.
So
Actually, just got one.
Yep.
Aaron, we're going to be using it, so giving you a heads up, brother.
So we're doing these investigations in this Masonic lodge, and there's 5 different rooms. I got 5 different groups. So they're my group. I get them set up in the front. They're doing stuff. They're getting some activity. I'm like, okay, I need to go check on the other groups, make sure everybody's in place. Going to rotate every 45 minutes. Just make sure everybody gets some opportunities in each one of the rooms. I leave, run upstairs, check on the 5 rooms. So I'm gone for like 5 to 10 minutes. I come back down. They had the door closed. Didn't even think about it. I grabbed that doorknob, swung that door open, just like I was walking in. Ashley was like maybe a foot away from that door and was sitting on the ground, and she said she didn't scream. I say she screamed. She came 3 foot off the ground. It's just, I was like, oh my God, I am so sorry. I did not. Like she's laughing at that point because she's done that to other people. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go check on other people. So I leave. I head upstairs, and there's a double door. It's called the Star Room. Got some interesting activity in there. Well, I walk up to it. I go to grab the doorknob, and I'm like, oh, I better knock on it because I just scared the bejeebas out of Ashley. I raise my hand up to knock on the door, and the door just goes click and swings open about 2 inches.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, so I push it open, and it's Creeps Commandos was the group that was in there with some people giving us a hand. And they're like, oh, you opened that door. I'm like, no, I didn't open that door. And they're like, well, we got it on camera. It's actually on one of their episodes. They managed to throw that out there. But yeah, the
cool
doors, like the Sally House, I thought Parachum was being weird and left the bathroom door open. We actually caught it. I was coming back in, had to go run and get some errands and come out. This is during daytime. He's doing a live upstairs. You can hear on the audio the click of the door, and it swings open. of the bathroom. It's in the kitchen. That's the main bathroom most people use because that's where most people set their headquarters. We have on our website, which is cwtspodcast.com. We have that evidence page where as we collect stuff, we put stuff up there. Because like in Ellenwood, we got whistles. Found out later that the Cowboys used to whistle to get shots of whiskey, and it's they're audible. And that was the other thing we kind of talked about. Everybody talks about EVPs. 90% of the stuff that we get is actually audible. Somebody actually heard it, and you go to replay it. It's not where on the shows where they ask a question and nothing. Usually there's something audible clue, and then that's a marker.
I love when you get the audible responses. Yeah.
Tell them about you scaring Jocelyn at Emmaus.
Oh yeah, we got to hear about that one.
That was not. She thinks it was on purpose. I'm gonna, next time we investigate, I have to wear have a balloon or light up tennis shoes. But so Emmaus is really big, and we're going down this corridor, and there's rooms to left and right. Some rooms are single rooms. Some are double. Right. So she starts walking a little bit faster. She looked in one door, turns, keeps on going. Well, I've already been through there. I know that's one of those other doors. So I walk in there and walk down to let her know that, it's they're connected. I come to the door. She comes around. I didn't say anything. I didn't move. I'm just standing there. And she screams. I mean, it is like, I'm still waiting. Erica from Solo Paranormal got it on video. Not her, but got the scream. I'm like, please give me that as a sound clip.
Right?
She locked up and just screamed and raised the leg up, and it was like she was committed. She's like, if I'm dying, I'm dying.
Yeah.
I was like, she's like, I'm not letting you out of my sight anymore. I'm like, I'm sorry. I was like, I didn't mean to do that on purpose.
So now you have two girls from that crew that you're going to have to watch out for.
They're We actually got an event coming up with them at Sleeper, March 7th. We got another one. So we do coloring and chumming. We have coloring books about the podcast, and they're private. They're originally going to be public events. Every time we set one up, everybody buys the tickets out because we prefer small group. 10 people, around 10 people or less. We bring in another paranormal group to kind of help out with setting stuff up. That one we have a couple of people that are going to be helping us. Matthew Orton, Drunken Cryptids, and Darkwoods Paranormal. Missy and Matthew are going to be giving us a hand on that particular one. Pin Paranormal and her group of friends are going to be there. It should be a good time, but I laser engrave some coloring, the pencil boxes, and we put books out. We talk about the location while they can color our podcast books. We have a wide, rabbit hole all over the place. We got coloring books.
That's awesome.
Larry's actually published a couple different books. He's got a fictional rendition of the Black Eyed Kids. His
God, that's a whole thing on its own. I love Black Eyed Kids stories.
That was my chair.
Sure it was.
Yeah, the novel about the Black Eyed Kids and case file studies from investigating.
Back when he was a wee lad, when you see getting into it. You got to remember too.
Where can you find those books at now?
They're on Amazon or the website. You can buy them. If you buy them off the website, you get them. I'll sign them for you.
Sweet. Okay.
And you'll probably get a sticker.
So we're getting ready to meet you guys in person in September.
Yep.
We're coming out for the Central Kansas Paracon. Do you have those there?
Oh,
yes,
yeah,
we'll have all those there with us.
All kinds of stuff.
Cool. Yeah, I'll get one then.
Yep.
Yeah,
Same
because
here.
we also laser engraved cups. I don't have one. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Oh, those look really good. Yeah.
They're stainless steel. So you can take them camping with you, throw them around. We do flasks. We got paranormal notebooks, patches.
Patches. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Working on
I'll have to look up.
It's a slow process, but
It's nice when you can do it yourself and not get the drop ship stuff,
Yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, hopefully we'll get so busy and all that I won't have time to do that.
Yep.
I don't need to drop ship it.
That's the dream.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the dream. But generally, I mean, you can buy it all off the website. Most of the time, though, we get most of our sales at events.
At the conference, yeah.
At cons,
Nice.
yeah. That's because we do hats too, and
Nice.
all sorts of other stuff. It just depends on what's going on and what I felt like lasering. It's kind of addictive, once you realize you can laser almost anything.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how I am with 3D printing. I print out so much
Yep.
worthless crap. Yep.
I got a resin 3D printer that
Nice.
kind of.
He does a 3D.
Yeah,
I have a laser. So yeah, it's like, yeah. Come and go down and do this all weekend. You're gonna be down there all weekend? Yeah.
Yeah.
So mine's portable, and I'll have it with me at the show.
Oh,
so,
nice.
Oh,
So-
that's
Cool.
a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll have to work together on doing some. Like I said, the jackrabbit, the jackalope, going all over the place is one of my favorite cryptids. So I mean, and you got it prominent on yours. Like I said, I believe they like IPAs because of the hops. So
Yeah.
that's the one with the
Oh,
beard.
Gotcha.
I get it now.
Snuck that one in there.
So you have your event on March 7th.
Mhm.
What else do you have coming up?
So March 7th, the sleeper, Chumming and coloring. We have
End of March. I do. So at the end of March, we have something that's pretty big that we're
Oh
excited about.
yeah, I can't believe I didn't remember that one.
We're hosting a panel at Planet Comic Con here in Kansas City
Oh, nice.
about the paranormal and comic books. That's going to be huge.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Then we have
Well, that's with Michael with PMS
and
uh,
Xander.
and Xander. So they're going to help us out on a 4-person panel talking about the history of paranormal and comics, how they've impacted and how it kind of declined after the ratings when they started rating comic books. But
Yeah.
it's a big show. They usually have about 70,000 people come through. We're
Wow.
on Saturday from, was it 12 to 1 or 11 to 12?
11 to 12 on Saturday.
That's great. Good for you guys.
Yeah, that's
That's awesome.
We're looking forward to it. Then we have the Arkansas Cryptid Fest in June.
Which is put on by Matt Orton and Drunken
Matt Orton.
Cryptids.
Okay.
All the other podcasters are going to be there. We're also speaking at that event as well.
Then we have in July we're speaking at the Elmwood UFO Days event in Elmwood, Wisconsin.
We'll be up there with Darkwoods Paranormal,
Yep.
Jesse and Matthew, Raven and Gabriel.
Oh,
'cause
nice.
Yeah.
Then we have
Great,
the
great
Central Kansas Paracon, which you guys will be there with us.
We'll
Then
be
we're doing
speaking
the-
on Friday on that one.
Yep,
Oh, you
Friday
will.
from
Cool.
3 to 4.
It's
something like that.
It's like
You know-
3 to 4. I think it is.
seeing it, the vendors and the speakers. That one's it's pretty
It's gonna be
filling
big.
up pretty good with.
Oh, it's
good stuff.
last year we had for as small as last year was, it was in Ellenwood. They ran out of space, and it was phenomenal. This one's going to be even better. I'm glad you guys are coming down. The vendors that are going to be there. It's going to be so the Missouri Paracon shut down. I don't know if you guys
Yep.
heard about that drama.
Yes.
That was going to be our big event, and unfortunately, since it's not happening. I believe Central Kansas is going to be the next one in line to be big. And then, of course, we got the KC Paracon August 1st and
Yeah, that's huge.
And then the Ohio Bigfoot Jamboree in October.
October 3rd.
Well,
Mhm.
So
and then podcast nights for you guys are
so we release our videos.
Yeah,
whenever you do it.
Oh, we release it.
So our
Sundays-
release is on so we have a Sunday fun day. We do a Wednesday wax stories, and then we do a Friday release of our full length episode. We generally put out shorts throughout the week.
Mhm.
We're trying to get back into doing standard lives, like any one of our events, like the Saturday, the March 7th, we'll have a live from the sleeper. We also try to film our podcast while we're at locations, as we're kind of talking about, as you talked about paranormal. If you're in a paranormal location, sometimes you can
Yep.
catch stuff. So
Right.
we do enjoy that. But we haven't figured out, we used to do lives a lot, and we kind of backed away because we got active with all the, like we just did the celebrity cons. We do more in-person events and trying to balance that time frame out and making sure you have enough backlog. We'll get back into it, but right now, our main channel's on YouTube. But you can find us on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple, RSS, for just a regular podcast. But some reason people like actually watching us on YouTube. We're not complaining, but we're enjoying it. We've been doing it for about a year and a half, meeting so many amazing people in the
Yeah.
community. I hate to say it, but I think COVID kind of helped out weed out some of the drama.
There was another orb.
Mm-hmm. There's been a couple.
Yeah, he's had like 6 or 7. There was one that was so bright it actually left trails on the screen until the
Oh,
camera
wow.
kind of adjusted.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to go back and watch it because I'm not seeing anything.
Oh yeah,
They're bright.
yeah,
And it's not even in IR. That's what's weird. This is
Yeah, right.
yeah.
This is an iPhone that's recording right now. So
Oh.
Right.
Well, there you go.
aliens.
You guys
Aliens. It's always aliens.
definitely sound like you're busy, and people can see lots of places.
And we like to
Yeah.
see people. I mean, that's some, we enjoy what we do, but we definitely enjoy meeting people and collabing. We're very pro podcast, small business. We've been helped out a lot by Cryptids of the Corn, Drunken Cryptids, Mythmonsters, Mullets. All our podcast friends have shouted us out, had us on. We want to do the same. Like when the minute you reached out, absolutely. It also didn't hurt. You got a awesome logo going on. that goes a long way. And you've had a lot of our friends on. Like we know a lot of the paranormal investigators in the area. They're all amazing, and the evidence they get.
See, and that's what I love about like the Midwest out, towards our areas. The collaboration and like the team spirit, right, is just different than what you get in other places around the country, and everybody we've talked to has just been phenomenal.
Yeah, we just celebrated a year in October, and the people you had mentioned, the people, and like everyone that comes on is great. And we've had so many people on from across the U.S., from California to there for like the first month. We kind of thought we were a Tennessee podcast.
Yeah.
We had like 4 people from Tennessee, and I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah. I swear that just happened to make you jealous because every single one of them, they're like, yeah, we're like an hour and 20 minutes from Brushy, so it's hard to get over there. And we're like, oh, yeah, we're like 10 hours from everything.
Yeah. Brushy Mountain Penitentiary is like definitely near the top of my bucket list.
Yeah.
That's on my bucket list too.
Yeah. Such a cool place.
I lucked out. I got to do the Mansfield and check. I didn't get to investigate. I got to walk it. That's such a beautiful location. I was really impressed. Yeah, it's weird. The penitentiaries and asylums are really neat locations to look at, let alone investigate. But
until you're in one.
Yeah.
Depending on how you're in one.
How'd you guys end up getting into the podcast, by the way, if you don't mind us asking you?
So what we did was, of course, we are a paranormal team, Way Out West Paranormal. Added Jason a couple of years ago, and it started out as my wife and I, like 2013, we met, realized we had an interest in the paranormal, both of us. Went to like Salt Lake City for an anniversary, and we investigated the Fear Factory, one of the top 3 haunted houses in the U.S., right? It's on like an old concrete factory, 16 confirmed deaths. So this is what we do for our anniversaries. I actually proposed to her on a ghost tour in Prescott, Arizona.
Prescott's a pretty neat place.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place. So Way Out West came around in 2020, and we started adding some people come about 21, added Jason a couple of years ago, and we had talked, sitting around just talking. I'm like, I've really wanted to do some kind of podcast. He's like, I have too. And then we're like, well, let's do it. Okay. So we started looking at where to do it. So we found StreamYard. I like Dave Schrader uses StreamYard. I listen to Dave, right? I'm like, okay, so we go to StreamYard. Okay, this is where we can do it, and we can broadcast out to destinations. And then really it was, we were like, okay, let's do it, and we're starting on this date, and we just did.
Yeah.
It's and I always like to kind of say, like, we weren't busy enough.
Yep.
But we were. Like, we were busy enough that we realized something else would kind of break that up.
Yep.
Break up what we were doing. And it's pretty nice, we're texting, every day, but come Wednesday night, it's like that midweek, and you get a break from work and you get a break from everything. And we get to come in and talk to people like you guys who are like-minded, right? I mean, paranormal investigators, Bigfoot hunters. We're looking for like an alien
Cryptid
person.
enthusiasts. Yep.
We're looking, for all this stuff. I'm more the paranormal guy, like the spirits and all that kind of stuff. And Jason's the cryptid guy. So, we've had some great Bigfoot people on, and I'm just over here like listening. I get to see him like geek out, and I know he gets to see me geek out when we're talking about some of these haunted places too. So
I love that your favorite cryptid has come from this show, though.
Yes. No, it's the lore behind it was I've really enjoyed it. Like if you have a jackalope following you, you have bad luck unless you can feed it whiskey to get away or catch it.
Yep.
And
so
because it's a fairly well known cryptid in Kansas, pretty much the Midwest all the way up through your guys, and it just I don't know why I like the hare version, the jackrabbit version versus the little bunny one. Just
right.
Yeah.
The jackrabbit makes it look. I mean, it is more real, right? It's a little larger.
Yeah.
It's got,
Well, they're not as small as what people think.
Technically, is it a cryptid anymore?
And then you get those ears that are on top of
with that God, I can't remember the disease.
That fungus.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's causing the big lumps on them and stuff like that.
Well, and they think that's the
origin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Aaron learned about the rock slide bolter on one of our episodes.
Yes.
So that's pretty cool. I was like, oh, what's this? And then I'm like, oh man, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's a mountain whale,
Yeah. Has a genius name.
Yep.
Nice.
And then mine, I know it's fake. I know it is, and I don't want it to be with all my heart, but the Fresno Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
Yeah. The walking tooth.
The walking tooth.
Well, you need to talk to Jason Kubik's.
Okay.
He had something similar to that in Missouri.
Really?
Kansas.
On the Kansas side?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's something that we kind of run into was like the rake. Well, that's a modern term. They're white crawlers is what they're Native American. They're, which John Fike, a friend of ours, Myth Monsters Mom, he's seen one. There's that 911 call from, I think it's Georgia, where the guy's saying it's not human, it's something jumped in the back.
And it's in the back of his truck. Yeah.
So they do an interview with that guy, and he goes into more details of what he says, and it's almost word for word for what John said that he saw. And they're like about an hour apart. So I mean, there's something out there. So it's not a like a lot of these things like Slender Man, Hat Man, there are references if you look back. It's like I was that way about Dog Man. I'm like, really, a Dog Man? And Brian Goddard is the one who's like, well, what about Anubis? Anubis is a half man, half. I'm like, I didn't even think about that.
Yep.
And he starts going through stuff, and I'm like, and then as you go through, I think they're just rebranded cryptids. I mean, they've been around. We just kind of forget about them, or they kind of fall off, and then they start popping back up again, and somebody else names it something else. But whether you're a cryptid, UFO, or paranormal, they overlap. We went Bigfoot hunting and had paranormal stuff happen. We went skywatch, and I got to see probably the brightest orb, and I mean orb. I mean will-o'-the-wisp, big glowing through the field, because I thought it was a car driving, and then I realized, wait a minute, that's in the middle of the field.
Wow.
And I think there's a like Bigfoot Spock rock paper scissor combination. So I went Bigfoot hunting, saw we had a specter, a shadow type thing show up. Then we go UFO hunting. I get orbs. I got to figure out how to go haunted house to get a Bigfoot. That's one I haven't collected yet, I guess.
Yeah, if you figure that out, let me know. Yeah,
we kind of had the same thing in Gettysburg. We're doing.
Yes.
I had gone out there in 2020 to help a friend with an event, and then Gina and I were going to go back out for a vacation, and we're like, "Hey guys, want to go?" And everyone's like, "Yeah." So we head out there, and first time I went was pretty cool because I spent 3 nights like in very, very close to the wheat field, like back in the woods. This time, the first night, the Rangers pulled up behind us. What are you doing in here? And I'm like, nothing.
Exploring.
So, little warning ticket, and don't come back out. So, we found that Seminary Ridge goes to Confederate Avenue. The national park doesn't start until the rock fence. So you can be on that road and be good. You're not in the park. So we did some great investigation out there. Our very last night there, Jason ended up like coming back to the other side of the road and in the trees with some stuff being thrown at him, and like large stuff. It was crazy. But then we went one night, we went cruising and we went out to where I stayed when I went out in 2020. And next thing you know, we're like UFO watching. So kind of that same thing. And you said you had been there, like, they call it the paranormal playground because like there's so much stuff, right? I mean, 50,000 people died, but you can feel the energy there. Like just walking the streets, the energy that place puts off.
Yeah.
We had Mark Nesbitt on the show. He's written all the Ghosts of Gettysburg books. He was a park ranger. And I think he even mentioned like part of that is they don't let that history go like a lot of places. And the people really embrace it, and even the spirits. So you just don't lose it.
Yeah. Well, and I took a ghost tour, and it was an investigation. So we did the cover bridge that they still have, and then we did
Sachs Bridge. Yeah.
And then we did the suicide bridge, which is a newer bridge. There was a bridge there, but originally, but it had been replaced. And then we did the battlefield that's still it's still in the city limits, not on the national side, because that way we could be there. It's actually like a ballpark area. But of all places, we got more activity on that bridge. That was a newer bridge. And I was talking to the tour guide, and he was a paranormal investigator, been doing Gettysburg there for 20 years, but he's like, they get horses, they get stuff. But he had mentioned that, he goes, the problem is there's a lot of remains. Like a lot of people buried the dead on their land. And then, so many years later, they came back, unburied them and reinterred them in the cemetery. He goes, how many arms and legs got left? Because of all the surgeries, and you said 50,000 people died, but there was so many more people,
casualties in general.
Right.
And then
we can save you if we cut your arm off.
Yep.
We can save you if we take your foot. We
did a paranormal like walking tour of what was it called? Hospital Row.
Yes.
And they were talking about how, they were just throwing the limbs out the window, and there were just piles and piles of limbs because they had no space for them. The blood was dripping from the ceiling, from the rooms above, from all the surgery being done.
And it literally was the city had to take care of all the dead. Like a lot of people don't know that. Like the government was still busy in war. So they had 50,000 people to friggin' bury with like the population was 2,000, if that.
Right.
Now think about it. You have that many people, and it's July 2nd, July 1st, 2nd, 3rd.
Hot, humid. Oh, yeah.
They're talking about, having to wear masks and the smells and and like I watched the movies, and that was one of the things that kind of, when I went there, those fields aren't that big. Like when they always show that big opening, and it's like, no, that's a lot more narrower. And then totally different class of people to run up towards a cemetery with cannons firing at me. I don't care what side of the battle you're on. That's balls of steel.
Yep. Where were we at, Aaron? The on the ridge. I forget the name of it. What was
Seminary
it?
Ridge.
No. During the talking about being deployed.
Sorry, when
I was talking about being deployed.
Oh, we were on Little Round Top.
Yeah, Little Round Top.
We took the 2-hour tour, the bus tour. And got to go around.
Little Round Top's right above Devil's Den, right?
Correct. You look down on Devil's Den.
And that's where they got 2 officers shot in the head because they didn't think they could reach from that far. Because one got shot down, and then his second in command went to go check on him, got shot in the head again. Yep. That's where I forgot what brigade came over the corner to reinforce, and I believe it was Texas, came out of the woods. And they didn't have time to even load. They just fixed bayonets and and it was pure coincidence. Otherwise, the Confederates would have overtaken Round Top.
Right. You had New York and Maine.
That was
up on Round Top.
Yeah. And the museum they have is amazing.
We did so much stuff, and we still could go back and do so much stuff.
Yep.
Days. I could go back every year for a long time.
Yep.
But yeah, if you
Oh,
haven't
yeah.
done the main museum, they redid it about 8 years ago. It is gorgeous. They have artifacts from all over. But you realize how haphazard that whole battle was. And
Yeah.
the fact that only like one civilian was shot with all the fighting that was
Yep.
going on is pretty impressive.
Yeah. The
Right.
Jenny Wade story is sad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Standing up there, it was pretty interesting standing there up on Little Round Top looking down, because you have, you know, the Union up on the hill, Confederates coming, and like the tour guide was saying, it's all about high ground, who has the high ground. And you have those ridges. So each day it was whoever had the high ground. The battle went back and forth so much.
Yep.
And we got to stand there, and I've told this story a couple of times, and to me it's very interesting, and I get to see a side of someone else. I was a firefighter and EMT, and I didn't enlist, but Jason did. After 9/11, he decided to go defend our country. So we're standing up there, and he's like, "This is what it looked like." And I was kind of looking at him like, "What?" And he goes, "This is what it looked like." He goes, "We were down there, and they were up here." And I'm like, "Oh."
Yeah, I don't
Yes.
know what it was. I don't know if it was just the energy from war that's still there, but just kind of took me back to Afghanistan for a minute, not in a bad way, but just like I could picture the Humvees, down on that road that brings you up there, and them having the high ground, and it was like, yeah, this is why air superiority is king, right?
Yeah.
Well, and when you're standing up there looking down at Devil's Den, the distance, like I remember
Yeah.
standing there and there was people down there, and I'm like, these guys had muskets. I mean, there's a few repeating rifles, but they were the rim-fired Henrys. They're not
Right.
that powerful, and they're hitting. I'm like, I'm looking and I'm like, you're hitting people in the head, and I'm looking at these people going, I can tell there's a person, but trying to pick out their head.
Yeah.
We talk
But-
about the sharpshooters now that are shooting a mile, but honestly, those guys, you're shooting a non-rifled gun,
Yep.
Yes.
Smooth
know,
bore. Yep.
and you're hitting people at that distance. I mean, mid Little Round Top to Devil's Den is 350 yards.
That's a
Yeah.
distance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with a
With no sights.
non-rifled gun.
Yeah,
You
because I
know?
mean, you look at it, and the Army, we qualify up to 300 meters, in basic training. So yeah, being able to take, and that's with an M16 or an M4,
Yeah.
and then you take a smooth bore rifle, no ballistics,
Yeah.
and not perfectly measured powder, right? So you don't have that all the consistency that we have now too with sharpshooters.
Yeah, such a cool place though. So
The other thing was the trees, the tree lines. You could literally be peeing on a tree and have somebody walk around, and you would have never. And that's something they don't really cover that well. I mean, that's why they were in the trees, because it was that much coverage. You could blend in there, and that's one of my favorite videos that's out there, where you see the apparitions moving in and out of the trees. Because I mean, there's people catch stuff all the time, and it's
my first trip out, I think it was our second night, we were coming around just to about the wheat field. And you got to remember, and you were talking about the bodies and stuff and how small it was. Wheat field is like 20 acres, and there were 5,000 dead. You couldn't touch ground, they said. You weren't touching the ground if you were walking through there. We caught a shadow figure in the tree. So you got the angle of the hat and the shoulder. Like, it's perfect. I was like, yeah. And you could sit there and watch like those shadows move in the trees with the moonlight.
Well,
Super
and that's
cool
why
place.
when we were on Seminary Ridge, we're looking at the cannons and all that, and you got the thick trees on the other side of the road, but you had this clearing inside the trees. And I was talking to Aaron, and I'm like, man, that is like the perfect place to put like your command element, for your firing batteries that are there. So I walked in, and yeah, all of a sudden, I mean, something like this got thrown at me. I think it was a big clod of dirt, and Aaron had the thermal pointed on it. There was nothing in the woods with me that registered on thermal. And then something just came sprinting at me through those woods. And like you said, they're so thick, you can't see anything. And all I'm seeing is bushes and trees moving. And yeah, it was intense.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then at the
Cool.
same time, I was using, I don't know, like the Ghost Tube app or something to see what we get. And it was like, Marilyn wants you to go. And I'm like, no, I'm not going. And Marilyn wants you to follow her now. I'm like, I'm not following Marilyn into these woods in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
All right. Like, I'm out here. I'll do a solo, but I ain't following nobody.
I would have been like, Marilyn needs to lay off the steroids.
Yeah. Marilyn. Yeah. She needs to learn about stranger danger because I ain't
Yeah.
going.
Jason and Michelle are in the woods. Gene and at 20 yards, 25 yards.
If that. Yeah.
Gina and I are on the road, and Gina's kind of sensitive and she hears stuff and she hears spirits. And so she always has questioned herself, but we have so much evidence that like corroborates what she's getting, right? So she's like, we need to go. And they're in the woods. And I'm like, what? She's like, someone is telling me we need to go. It's saying you need to get the fuck out of here.
Yep.
And I'm like,
And Gina doesn't cuss very much.
she's
So for her to drop an F-bomb, like it's okay. Things are
So
serious.
the minute she says something is telling me we need to go, over whatever he was using, it said ominous warning.
Yep.
I could hear it. And it said ominous warning. The exact second she goes, we need to go. Someone's telling me we need to go. And so we're like scooping up our stuff. And I'm like, Jason? He goes, I'm coming.
Yep, I got you. Because
They were
I know,
coming out of the woods.
Aaron and I have been working together long enough. He knows I'll do all the dumb stuff, like I'll go into the basement of the brothel, for 30 minutes and get touched and have crazy crap happen. And yeah. But yeah, when I heard that tone in his voice of Jason, I was like, yep, okay, coming out. Like I know something was going on.
Yep.
Like
I don't know.
You see
what
me
was
running.
building.
You should try to keep up.
Yep.
Right. I don't know what was building, but we had already seen a shadow figure in a road. We were getting great responses with like a yes, no.
Well, and then I started playing bugle calls too, and that
That's when it
freaking
really picked up.
amplified everything.
I
Because we
bet.
started out and we were getting some cool stuff with the yes, no. I think we were talking to a younger soldier, and he was answering some questions. And then I played the bugle call and just, yeah, it went crazy.
Footsteps
bugle
coming
did
in
you do?
around us, like all around us. You could just hear footsteps, and it was
I did every possible bugle call. So, like
so
the assembled arms, all
arms.
that kind of. Yep.
Okay. Just, I mean, it's like doing the Sierra Sounds out in the mountains.
Exactly. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Not
It's
a
like,
smart
yeah.
idea.
Yep.
I did the Sierra Sounds as I was walking up to Ape Canyon, and there's a few moments of regret of like, oh, they're gonna find my camera.
Yep. Yep. I'm going to be missing 411, man. Crap.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
no,
those Sierra
I-
sounds are something else. That is some of the most compelling evidence I've ever heard for, Sasquatch. They are amazing.
Yeah.
I remember the first time it was during a podcast episode. Jeremy played them for me, and I was like, "When did the Japanese dude show up?"
Right?
It was just like,
Yep.
it was freaky.
Yep. It's
Yeah.
really weird. You can tell how close it is, and they are just miles out, in this little I don't even know if it was a cabin. It was like this.
Yeah,
No,
it was a
it was a
shelter.
hunting blind.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. Yeah, it was a shelter. Yeah.
But the
So-
balls on these guys, like trying to antagonize it.
Yep.
Well, the
I'm like-
actual story of how they got the sound, they that wasn't the first time they had heard them.
Right.
They had heard them the time before and went back and were in a bar, and they were telling people about it, and everybody was like, "You're full of shit."
Yep.
So they took
They're like, all right,
100
we'll go out.
They took 160 pounds of recording equipment on friggin' mules and horses to get that
Yep.
out there, because it's like a day and a half out.
Right.
like
Yeah.
I appreciate that level of pettiness to make sure to get it
Right.
in.
to go back to the bar and talk
Yeah.
crap.
Like,
Right.
like now I'm thinking,
Here you go,
okay,
you son of a bitch. Listen to this.
now I'm thinking I need to get some bugle sounds and go back to Gettysburg. I may be
Yeah,
running
do it,
after,
man.
but I didn't even think that was a great trigger.
It,
Yeah.
it
Well,
amps it
'cause-
up.
So I'm ex-Navy, and I did a little Air Force for a while. So, and by the way, thank you for your service. After
Yeah,
this.
likewise,
Thank you.
JD.
Thank you too.
But there are certain things that still like trigger. Like if you see certain, like you're saying, like when you're at Round Top, looking around the train, you start seeing the patterns of certain things, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
And bugles still you hear, the bugle to
Yep.
rise, and
Yep.
I was like, I didn't even think about that. That's because
Yeah.
like on Suicide Bridge we were getting like we had an obelisk going. We had two of them. We had a first gen and a second gen, and they're like matching up. That's what was getting kind of weird for me.
See,
was
I
like,
love when that happens. Yeah. Start getting stuff that's really correlating. Yeah.
yeah,
We
and
got
then like
pretty- Go
what?
ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So we got pretty lucky over on Sachs Bridge.
Yeah.
We had gone out there. I think it was the second night we were there, and there was about an hour and a half where no one else was there, and that place
Which is
is
rare out
always
there,
packed,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, to have it open an hour and a half, it was great. We were getting some good stuff.
And I have to apologize to Michelle every time because me and her are peeking over the edge of the bridge, and I turn my flashlight on to look at the river, and yeah, a couple bats dive bombed it, and like I'm talking inches from her hair coming into the bridge. I felt so bad.
No.
Yeah, you know how the bridge has it came in
Yeah.
like 10 squares just right.
Yeah.
next to
Oh.
it. I was like,
It's like,
holy crap.
it's like, all right, fine, no more light. My bad.
You guys need to go, like Jeremy said, when you're down here for the Central Kansas Paracon, you need to go to the sand dunes outside of Hutchinson and look for the
Yeah.
Hamburger Man.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a-
I'm
it's a-
looking forward to be able to meet you guys in person. Definitely,
Likewise.
when you're doing the Garnet and all that, let us know. We'll come down for lunch or something, just to hang out or whatever.
That'd be great. Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
yeah, like I said, we're pro everything. You guys are doing a great job. You're doing what you enjoy, and everybody I tell, like I've had a couple people at some Paracons ask me, like, I'm thinking about doing a podcast. I'm like, just do it. Like,
Yep.
just do
Yep.
it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't worry about it. You'll get better as
Yep.
you go. If you really enjoy what you're doing, that's what
just
makes
do
this
it.
better. Yes.
Your first couple episodes are going to be absolutely terrible, but you're going to love them because they were your first couple,
Yep.
and just seeing how far we've come in a year as far as, just navigating how to do a podcast has been, really gratifying.
Yeah, and the people you get to meet and interact with is just, to me, is just amazing. The community that's out there. At some point, we're going to try to get together and do a podcast event in Kansas City. So you may be hearing from us pretty soon about.
Sweet.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah.
For sure. That'd be awesome.
I'm always down for a road trip for something like that, especially for some good collaboration with good people, like,
Kansas City barbecue.
yep.
Oh, yeah.
KC barbecue.
We
Yep.
got a lot of that.
Yep.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Well, guys, we really appreciate you coming on tonight. And we usually do 45 minutes to an hour, but this was a great night.
Yeah. This is
It's so
wonderful.
talking to you guys. Can't wait to meet you in person.
Yeah, thank you for
Looking
having us
forward
on.
to
This
Yeah,
has been a
appreciate it.
blast.
Thanks for reaching out. And
Sorry I had to get up. There was someone knocking at my front door, and I go out there, and there was no one there.
I was just going to ask, well, was there someone there?
Yeah, no, there was no one there.
Wow. Yeah. So we've got that.
Wow.
We've got, the tons of light anomalies on JD's. Yeah. You're going to have to go back and look. There's been some interesting ones, man, going over your shoulder.
like literally, it's
Yeah.
me.
And they've
In a
been
hotel
bright.
room.
That's the weird thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very bright. They're like
Yeah.
illuminated. Yeah. Almost
Well, and
like
that's
what
what's
they would
weird
look
is-
like if you see them in IR, but you're not in IR.
Like I literally have a lamp on me and turned off the other lights around me, so so I should have seen it. If you guys are seeing it, I don't know.
Right.
They've all been coming in from behind you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Coming like,
Famous last words.
yeah.
Yep. I was just going to say, as we log off of him having to go to sleep in the hotel room.
I'm gonna go sleep in the car.
There you go. Yep.
we're going to throw you guys in the green room. We'll catch up with you real quick. And
Awesome.
we're just going to close it out.
Yeah. It's been great, guys.
Okay.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Great conversation.
Yeah.
Like,
Those guys are awesome.
it's what we do, right? Like we
Yep.
get to come in and we talked about it in there. We get to come in and talk about stuff we like with people like-minded and just have a good time.
And that's what, like I said, and I'm not talking bad about any other place in the US because everybody has, their ways to do it. But I just think, kind of the Midwestern attitude and, just kind of that sense of community, right? That's kind of out in this area of the country, just makes collaboration so great.
Right. Yeah. We've mentioned it lots of times where like the East Coast really has whatever they have going on. And
Yep.
it's usually something's going on with
Yep.
one or two someone's living in their mom's basement.
Yep.
and,
Stay out of
you know,
mom's
you know.
basement. Yep.
So, and then you hit the Mississippi and you're this side of it, and
Yep.
you really get people that want to help each other and do collabs and do all the cool stuff.
Yep. And just want to see everybody succeed.
Yep.
And that's what I've really enjoyed about talking, with these guys, Jocelyn, Penn, is they just want to do paranormal, man. And they want to have fun with like-minded people doing it. And I love that.
So yeah, September 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, Central Kansas Paracon in Hutchinson, Kansas. If you're close or even within we're 8 hours. So if you're 8 to 10 hours, we expect to see you there.
Yep. I've had a couple of people hit me up saying they might take a road trip down.
I've seen
Some
that,
people
yeah.
that have been on the show. So I'm not going to throw their names out there. I'll let it kind of be a surprise, for when we're out there and, talk to some of these people we've had on a couple times.
Yep. Come see us. Come see the Chumming with the Spirits guys. There's so many more. We're going to have 2 tables, one for us, one for WoW.
Yep.
We'd love to see everyone.
Sweet. All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone. And we'll see y'all next week.
I'll have a good night.
Unraveling the Darkness would like to thank Horn Paranormal Research for sponsoring our show. If you're craving more paranormal content, don't forget to check out our YouTube and Facebook channels at Way Out West Paranormal and Unraveling the Darkness. You can catch all of our episodes of Unraveling the Darkness on Apple Podcasts, Facebook, and YouTube. Be sure to like and subscribe as it helps others find the show and join in on the paranormal fun. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, keep your lights on, stay safe, and remember, the truth is out there, and it might just be closer than you think.